Every car has a story, each one unique and personal. Watch now as their owners share their passion, their energy, and their Healey stories.
I'm Frans, and this is my Healey story. I remember the first time I saw a Healey, and of course I have an eye on all kinds of classic cars, but this one really stood out to me. You know, I love the lines and the color combinations and the wire wheels. Sometimes, yeah, it's really a real nice head turner most of the time. I've always been a petrol head a little bit, so I look at all kinds of cars. Of course, I had the bedroom posters of the Lamborghinis and everything, but you know, like every kid has. Don't buy it. I think, in my opinion, if you're not inclined to work on it yourself, because it'll be a money pit for sure. This type of Healey I own myself. In Dutch, it's called a Sleutelt Healey, and that basically translates as a tinker car. You have to work on it yourself and fix things. Otherwise, if you have to outsource everything that breaks down every now and then, and it will, uh, it's going to be costly. But on the other end, parts are cheap, and if you're not afraid to use a spanner or get your hands dirty a little bit, you can keep it on the road very cheap, and it's a lot of fun and really rewarding. Well, my advice is, if you're into classic car, this is a really nice entry-level car to do so and have a lot of fun with doing so. The type of car that I own is a Mark IV Sprite, Austin Healey Sprite. Currently it's got an 1100 or a 1098 A series engine with some add-ons to it. I converted it to 5-speed. It has added sway bars, but for the rest it's pretty stock, nothing special. Because it's a 1967, and that means it's got the roll-up windows. It's got a fairly easy roof to put on. You don't have to put in a tent frame to erect the roof. Yeah, it's got a nice roomy boot, standard tires, disc brakes in front, drums in the rear, and it puts out about 55 horsepower at the moment, which is not too bad actually. It's a little more than standard, but that's because of the tinkering I did. What got me interested into the Healey was of course a big coincidence, because the car was basically given to me. I was told if I wanted it, I could go pick it up. And of course I was excited like a child on Christmas morning and I went for it. But of course I've seen the car before. The previous owner took me for rides in it. I knew what I was getting into. I was really excited for it. So when he told me I could come and get it, I went for it. Yeah, the first time I drove a Healey was actually my own car after I got it from Germany back to Holland and fixed the clutch. I had to do engine out to repair it, because this type of car is an engine out job to do the clutch. It was a real exciting moment to start it up for the first time and actually got to drive it. It was really exciting. The biggest challenge I faced was actually quite early and when I got it, because the clutch was knackered and the engine had to come out, and I never taken on such a job before, and I had to rent a little what do you call it, engine hoist, cherry picker, and then I just went for it, remove all the paraphernalia on the engine, and figured out how to get all of that out of the car. But yeah, I got it done, and it was a success. Then again, YouTube is your friend. I of course typed in Sprite engine removal, and boom, there it was. I saw somebody else do it, and that helps a lot. Nowadays, it's a good thing to have YouTube. Yes, a while ago I became a member of the Dutch Healey Owners Club, and that is a very good membership. Of course, they organize all sorts of stuff, but a lot of gatherings and rallies and stuff got cancelled because of the COVID. But they print a very nice magazine with all sorts of know-how in there, and and the Dutch Austin Healey Museum is involved in that, and it's a good community to be in, I think, to share the passion for the Austin Healeys. So the absolute best experience, I think, what springs to mind is driving through the Eifel area in Germany in very nice spring weather over these hill countries. That was really, really exciting. I thought that's what I crave to do once more if I get the chance. You know, that area I just love. German roads are really good for that. Not so many speed bumps as in Holland. Those things really annoy me. Yeah, so one of the best things about this car is that me and my wife can share the enjoyment of the car. Just to pick out a little goal and just go out for the sake of driving and share it. So yeah, the way we use the car most is just to do little tours, and sometimes if we get the chance, book a little hotel room somewhere and go into Germany or Luxembourg or whatever, or even Holland, and do little holiday tours with it. We use it a lot actually. Once the weather is nice enough, we can put the top down, then we drive around here and use our little motorcycle navigation to find the little roads that you don't normally think of straight away, and we enjoy the hell out of that. We use this lot as much as we can to do little tours like that. Yeah, that's the main goal, not for work or commuting, stuff like that. It could be a daily driver, it's reliable enough to do that, but I like to preserve it for days like that. Sunny days, we go out, and since we have this navigation that can do round trips with the same destination as your exit point, it's brilliant. It's good fun. The longest trip that I took in the car was probably all the way down to Luxembourg. Yeah, we booked some hotels in Germany, and then I think it was Monschau, and then we had a stop in Vianden, and then we decided to look back through Germany to the Rhine. I think it was Königswinter. That was the place. Anyway, we made a loop through through that area, and took our time, just taking the windy roads there, and after 5-6 hours in this car, it's enough. As enjoyable as it is, but it's not a GT. But that was a good trip, very nice. Yeah. One day we came back from a little tour, not too far from here actually, through Germany, and there was this. It almost became night, so dark, this cloud, and there was torrential rain, and actually it would have made more sense just to pull over somewhere, but we just kept going. And the roof didn't help much then. It poured in from all corners, and we were like, let's go home. That was really crazy, but the car kept going, and I had to use the fastest speed on the windscreen wipers, and it was keep going. Yeah, that was a really crazy situation. Yeah, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship. Yeah, between driving it and having so much fun, but just knowing that something is going to break. Yeah, they're not the most reliable cars, but it comes with it has its character that way. So about modifications, the list is long, but I'll try to put it in a nutshell. So the most important one was the tachometer was knackered, so I found a digital replacement to put inside the original housing, because that's, I'm not a purist, but I think that's something you look at all the time. I wanted that to look original and work. So that was one of the first things I did. And second, I modified the windscreen wiper control a little bit, so I had now I have interval and 2 speeds using the same motor that's already in there from a Mini. I added a rear a backup light, you know, for reverse gear, so you have light at the back. The most important one is converting it to a 5-speed gearbox, because the original gearbox was really at the end of its life and popping out of gear, and gave me trouble. So I found this modification kit. You can buy a Ford Sierra 5-speed T9 type gearbox, but it had to be shortened and some welding had to be done. But for the rest, you can buy from the UK a very nice kit with a bell housing that fits the A-type engine and fits the gearbox as well. A little bit shortened prop shaft and all that. So you can buy that in a kit. It's brilliant. Even a ham-fisted guy like me can put it in if you really want to. You have to be motivated, of course, a little bit. That was a lot of work, and I at the time I combined it with building in a bit stronger engine, but later it turned out that engine was toast, so it had to come out again. But at least it fits the A-series engine, so I put the original engine back in again, and now we're driving. It's all good. Actually, 1 to 4th gear is very similar to the original, and you have this added 5th, which I guess you could also call it an overdrive, the 5th gear, and it really makes driving very much nicer. And then, of course, on the engine itself, I did some modifications too, like putting a crankshaft sensor on it, so I can do away with the distributor, and made it added a programmable little computer for the ignition. Also did away with the SU carbs. They worked fine, but in combination with this ignition, it was better to have a Weber. It added some power too, and you can use a torque position sensor on there as well. So the ignition is always optimized on it throughout the rev range, and that's a good reliability add-on. Also, stronger high torque starter motor was a really good upgrade. The original one was a bit of a hit and miss situation. Sometimes it engages the gear, sometimes not, and I didn't like it. So the upgrades you can buy for that are relatively affordable. I think they make a lot of sense. And also cooling, electric fan for the radiator, that sort of stuff. And an oil catch can. That's one of the add-ons that's not original under the hood, just to keep the oil that will come out. Yeah, the leaf springs I thought, well, they look a bit rusty, the original one, and the car sits a bit low, but some people like it. I do. So I bought some new ones and put them under the car, and the car was on this strange angle. It was sitting way too high at the back. It looked funny, so I thought, no, that's not going to work for me. And then I thought of refurbishing the original ones, and I cleaned them up, used chainsaw oil to soak them really in this oil to make them less squeaky and stop the rust. And then I just used some motorcycle inner tubes to wrap them, to sleeve them basically from beginning to the end. Just use some zip ties on both ends to keep that in place, and it works great. Don't squeak anymore, and they work just fine now. So if money were no object, on the cosmetic side of things, this car isn't perfect. The bodywork could use a respray. I would do it properly. Just sand the whole thing down back to metal again and have a proper paint job on it. That would be on my wish list. And probably have the engine that I want in there prepared by a professional. I'm going to do it myself this time. or only outsource the bits that I really can't take on myself, like a rebore or something like that, if that's required. But I have seen some things in the UK that you can have prepared for your engine. I couldn't afford that right now, but if money were no object, I would go down that path, yes. Certain people don't fit. It's a very small car. I have friends that would almost kill me to have a drive in it, but they just can't sit in it. They're too tall. And I feel sorry for them. I fit perfectly in that car, but it's limited. The seats are as far back as they go. But I didn't even bother putting rails in it because forward is not even an option. That's probably one of the downsides, but apart from that, no, I love it. The things about Heelys that get me really excited is driving in and get people's reactions, especially in this one. It's just a cute car, and everybody that sees it starts smiling or give you the thumbs up, and that is really a big plus for me at people's reactions. Yeah, of course, it puts a smile on my face too if I get the thumbs up, and yeah, we're really enjoying this.
No matter where in the world you are, if you have a Healey and a story to tell, sign up to share your story. Then, if we're in your neighborhood, maybe you can be on the next Healey Stories. Visit www.austinhealeychannel.com and apply today.